Welcome to Keep the Game Beautiful podcast. Each week, I highlight incredible people who are doing amazing things in soccer, the beautiful game. I'm Anna Turi, your host. Thank you for listening. So before we get started, I really wanted to quickly apologize about the audio in today's episode. I know it's not the best, and I sincerely apologize for that. This was one of my first times calling in from my phone, so it was a different experience for me. I was super excited to see NWSL back in play this past weekend. I used to love going to games and learning from some great role models on the field. We even got the game pulled up on our phone this past weekend, and I really enjoyed watching it. So I have to give a quick Duke Tig plug. They have some amazing products, and Addie and Tiff do a great job to reaching out to other amazing people that are doing amazing things in the game. So without further ado, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Today's guest is Demitrius White. Demitrius played at Milwaukee Simba SC and with the Midwest ODP team. He was invited to numerous camps for top youth players in the nation. He played for the Chicago Fire and also the Puerto Rican National Team. Later, Demitrius returned to Milwaukee, where he revived Milwaukee Simba SC. He is now the president of Milwaukee Simba SC. So, Demitrius, would you like to take a second and explain a bit more about yourself?
Yeah, like she said, my name is Demetrius. I was born and raised here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And, soccer has been amazing to me. It was probably the best thing that ever happened to me in life. And, I just want to, paint it forward for everyone. I'm also the president of the Milwaukee Simba Soccer Club. And we would just try to get back to the youth here in the inner city of Milwaukee and, helping support their talent and give them the opportunity that they would never have if it wasn't for a program like the Simbas.
So on this podcast, I always start with the same 3 questions. First, what does the beautiful game mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. It means that at the end of the day, you can have a chance to do something that was different, definitely for me and what it means for me. And, to be out there, to be able to live a little bit. I know a lot of times for me, it was like, being from where I was from here in Milwaukee, it was really rough. And, my only outlet, after a while was soccer. So I just breathed it, I slept it, and, I always knew that, if I keep doing the right thing and, keep focusing on the goal and working hard, that it will all pay off for me one day.
What are actions or things you do to keep the game beautiful?
I just try to bring people together, especially youth, and, giving them the opportunity to explore their talent when, here in soccer, definitely here in Milwaukee, for a lot of kids, it's kind of expensive. So, I try to figure out a way to take the pay-to-play away and give these kids the opportunity to succeed.
How do you encourage others to keep the game beautiful?
Just by helping, loving one another, having a conversation. I'm big on that because, at the end of the day, people, don't understand that a conversation can go a long way. And, with them doing that, it'll bring them together, and it'll also, apply in life, long friendship.
So could you start off by telling me a bit more about the Simbas?
Yes. So, about 6 years ago, 2008, after I was done playing, I came back to Milwaukee, and what I decided to do, because it was like no soccer here in the inner city, to be able to, have an outlet for the kids here in the inner city. that just can't pay the prices that, all these other clubs are offering. And, Simbas came because it's like, I was part of this community. I had a chance to do something great, with playing with the Simbas in my days. And I'm like, it makes sense to come and give back to, where it all started for me. And I knew it was going to be rough, you know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, that was the goal of, revamping the Simbas all over again to give these kids the opportunity that they would never have. And we do a lot of scholarship, and, I try to make it so that even if a kid can't pay, I don't care who it is, we figure out a way for that kid to play. And the Simbas are all about that, and it's building to more things, when you look at it that way, because we're not saying here at the Simbas like everybody's going to be professional soccer players or, you guys are going to get a scholarship for soccer. Our goal is at the end of the day is let's get these kids on the right path to graduate from high school, and then we'll figure all that stuff out, as, that time comes for kids. And we just want to be here to help all kids here in the Simba program strive to whatever they want to do.
You had talked a bit about scholarships. What do you look for when giving a scholarship to a player?
The thing we look for is, and then that's when the communication comes in. Basically, we if a parent needs help, they come to us. If they can't pay, that's fine. We're not going to be like, well, you work, you know what I mean? You spend money on X, Y, and Z, However a parent feel, they feel, and if they feel like, they can't pay at this time, then we don't worry about it. So it's all about the conversation that we have with our parents and the things that we just do to make sure that, like I said, all kids get the opportunity.
Do you find that parents or players are ever afraid to ask for money or help? No, I don't. I'm very open with the community. I'm very open with my parents, and, they know at the end of the day if they need help, they need to come to me, and, or at the end of the day, we know what's going on. So if we see a parent, saying that they can pay, but, really that, they can't because they haven't paid anything, it's my position as the president to go and be like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like looking at you a different way or anything like that. Like, if you can't pay, it's okay. Your kid is still going to have the same treatment from a kid that is paying. You know what I mean? It would be no different, and that's where the communication comes in at. What does it mean to be a Simba?
It means everything. Definitely for me and what I see in the kids, it means brotherhood. It means at the end of the day, you can come to the Simba program and you can feel comfortable, and you can also strive for other things. Like I said, we just love to have the kids around to be able to start conversations. And the way the world is right now, I just feel like, even though we've been doing it, but it's definitely the way to go now, because it's just a mind frame of it. Like, the Simbas are, powerful. Like, we're meaningful. Like, every kid in this program means something. So, and that's what we just try to, keep empowering.
Can you tell me a bit what it was like to play at Simba SC as a kid?
Oh, it was great. We were very good. Definitely my Simba age group. We did a lot of traveling as kids with the Simbas, and we won a lot of tournaments, and we were really good. But it just brought that friendship after a while from all different cultures, all different walks of life. Simbas was the most diverse program back then, and still I think now, with our mission as well, is no different. But we all learned something from each other, and we built a bond that, could nobody break. And, definitely as kids, we got a chance to understand one another and understand where, we came from, our background. And that just made us stronger. and with the coaching that was in the Simba program, you know, that was empowering. That was power. When Jimmy Banks came, I just think for us that it changed our life, not just as soccer players, but, you know, young men. And he kind of pushed us in a way to be great, and we didn't even know it. You know, for me, you build a bond that's bigger than anything when you're playing with guys and you have to get out on that soccer field and run 90 minutes and, you know, have to protect one another, have to defend one another. That's what it was about for me.
How did Simba SC support you and your family?
Well, I was scholarship. Probably back then, I want to say at least 76% of us was probably scholarship. I know it was a huge number because just knowing each other and knowing where we all came from, we knew that, you know, our parents didn't have much. So, you know, they was huge for us back then. And I didn't pay nothing the whole time through the Simbas. I got the opportunity to do something I loved after a while. So,
what other lessons does Simba teach?
Oh man, so many. I like that one. You know, it just gets you prepared for life in general. You know, we like to say here, to give respect, you got to give respect, and a lot of the kids understand that. And the biggest thing, you know, definitely for us is just being the role models, just giving the kids, you know, a role model to look up to, and, you know, hopefully, like, we can keep them on the right path and keep pushing in their life.
Who were some of your mentors in Simba SC?
Jimmy Banks, he was the big one. Floyd DeBow, who the founder of the Simbas. And the parents in general that took care of me, like the Marty Castros of the world and the Stones of the world. So it was so many people that really looked out that, you know, it was just amazing.
After your playing career, how did you decide to come home to Milwaukee to run the Simbas?
Well, and this is gonna be the fourth time I ever told anyone this story. So that was a good one. Well, back when I was 13, and I tell this story because it meant a lot to me, and I'm just painting it forward now. When I was 13, I was at regional camp, and I was in a room. We played the first game. Jimmy was the coach at the time, and he said I played amazing, and, you know, et cetera, just continue to push me. And so I was so confident that I played so good that the morning of, you know, the practices, that I'll be practicing with the regional pool, not with Wisconsin, right? So that morning came, everybody wanted to look on the list, and they didn't say my name. I'm like, oh, man. So I was down on myself, like, you know, what did I do wrong? Like, I know I was killing it out there. So I had a conversation with Jim, and he came to me, and he was like, you know, don't worry about it. He was like, I was in a meeting. They're really looking at you. He was like, everybody talked about you in there. He was like, just be patient. You know, your time will come. And, you know, I went out for, you know, before the next game, you know, that afternoon, because we trained in the morning and had a game in the afternoon. I started praying, and, you know, I prayed that, you know, if he can help me through this and seek me through this, that, you know, when my soccer career is done, that I would give back to the community. And now we're here. And he's done so much amazing things for me in my lifetime. I've been all over the world. I played at the highest level. I made a promise to him, when I'm done, I'll give back. And now I'm retired. Don't want to play anymore like that. Still play around, but I'm just giving back to what I promised him, when I was 13. So.
Are you able to help your players through their own faith and their tough times?
Oh, most definitely. Definitely the kids that, I work with, because I've been through it. I've been through a lot. Only had a mom in the house. Very hard at times, very, very hard. And I can be able to relate to the kids. And I know what tough times look like. I know what they are. So at the end of the day, if anyone's going to be able to guide them through something like that, it's definitely me.
Why is it so important for you that everyone has a chance to experience soccer?
Because it's a beautiful game. It's the best sport that I ever played, hands down. Not just because of the soccer, it's so much more to it. So that's it. It's beautiful.
How are you going to develop today's players to lead Simba tomorrow?
Well, what I do a lot is in my camps, I get the older kids to, help coach the younger kids. And I do that because, at the end of the day, it's giving them the opportunity to look at soccer on a different side. And hopefully with that experience that I'm giving them, they'll be able to, paint it forward just like I did.
Do you have any favorite stories from coaching or playing at Simba?
We were, this one. We were playing for State Cup. And, we were tied 1-1 to Brookfield. And it was kind of like playing 12 versus 11. Well, 13 versus 11 at the time. And we just felt like, we worked so hard. We just got done playing this team out of town, and we beat them 6-3. And we're not understanding how we could come back to Wisconsin for a final State Cup game and just get drained after that. We feel like still to this day we talk about it that if it wasn't like that back in the day, I think we would have. It could have took a lot more players somewhere else. I just think that for a lot of players, they looked at that and it discouraged them a little bit. And still to this day, I see the players and we talk about it, and that's all we talk about, like that game, because it was the most blatant, racist game that we ever seen in our life. And it was just wrong. And it took the spirit away from a lot of people. And I will never forget that story because I was going down that road. Like, it took the spirit away. And, I'm a fighter. So, at the end of the day, it just kind of motivated me a little more to be able to, be great or be good. You know what I mean? So stories like, it's just stories like that when people ask me moments like that, like for everybody, for my soccer team, like I have to tell that side of it because the way it's going right now as well, with everything that's going on, we're uniting together. And, to see what's happening right now, I think is so beautiful. And I tell that story because it is what it is. And I just want the people to know, even in the soccer world, right, it's like, how can we help more? Why at the end of the day that, our who's supposed to really be, helping us out, our states and just whatever the case may be, the inner city really, like a team like the Simbas, I'll be honest, like we don't get any support like that. You know what I mean? And for it to be so much talent down here, and you know, people are not looking at it like, hey, you know, let's go help in the inner city, and it just don't have to be the Simba. It's about the kids, right? So it's like, let's go help the kids in the inner city. Let's bring more resources to them with soccer, and it's like nobody is doing that, and that's, you know, that's kind of a big problem to me, because we all supposed to be fighting the same fight, and it's just what it is, and that's why I tell that story.
How can someone help and support others?
I think at the end of the day, soccer for me needs to change, right? I just feel like it's so expensive for no reason. Like, all you need is a soccer ball, pretty much, right? And I think, like, at the end of the day, and I hear this from a lot of parents too, it's just like, I have to work 2-3 jobs just to pay for my son's soccer fee. So my thing is, why can't youth soccer in general be at a low cost or a no cost, right? That's just how I feel, and how people can help is U.S. soccer and all these other big soccer, you know, organizations. You know, they can help. You know, they can help the city strive in soccer as well. So I'm looking for, you know, U.S. soccer and all and everything that's going on to help. So come down and help. Find out what we need. Call.
So I want to transition a little bit to your playing career. So how did you build up your name and even get invited to a national camp?
Just hard work. And within Wisconsin, I was arguably one of the best players in my age group. So, you know, I worked hard to be noticed. Just over time, you know, I started training with the Milwaukee Rampage at the time, and, you know, just to have that experience to be able to play. And, you know, the coach, Bob Gansler, being like another father figure to me at the time. I just worked hard, and a lot of people saw what I did, and I was doing what, you know, I had to do to be successful. So, you know, it just crowded attention after a while.
Did you ever get nervous before important camps?
Oh, no. I just went out there. I mean, everybody have a little butterfly, but, I mean, it was nothing that, because you had to play regardless, and if you let that get to you, right, you know, that can stop what you really trying to accomplish. So butterflies a little bit, yeah. Nervous, nah.
What advice would you give to someone going into a national camp?
Just be focused. Just stay focused. You know, keep your eye on the prize and do what you know how to do. Do what you was brought here to do, and, you know, success will come.
Could you talk a little bit about your experience in the MLS?
It was different, right? To, you know, have to come and play with some of the best players in the world at this time, like Tony Sana, you know, those guys. It was just a different experience for me, because I'm so used to seeing it on TV that, you know, now that I'm in the locker room, I just felt like I said, just keep on doing me. That's what got me here, and everything else would take care of itself.
What were some of your favorite moments in MLS?
Playing against DC United youth team. We ended up beating them 2-1. And I just thought that was, you know, amazing to even just get out there on the field and being able to, you know, show my talent. And that was probably one of the proudest moments.
Was it hard to train very vigorously and be in the MLS? Was it a huge transition for you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it took a lot. I'll tell you that much. And the game of the speed. I mean, the speed of the game. It picked up. So I had to adjust. And playing in the midfield. You always have to. You're like a point guard. So you always have to be ready. You always have to know like what the next step is, the next move is. So adjusting like that for me, from normally like playing club or playing anywhere else where I'll just, take over at times. It wasn't like that like when you went to the MLS. You had guys that was experienced. You had guys that, know what they're doing already. So to be able to adjust like that, it takes a lot.
I know Peter Wilt was bigger in developing the culture of the player. What lessons about the importance of hearing your community have helped with Simba?
It's what soccer should look like right now in general. So I'll just leave it with that.
So then, how did you end up playing for Puerto Rico as well?
So I ended up playing with Puerto Rico. I just left for the summer, working out, and Puerto Rico, they were doing some training up there, and a good friend of mine, he went up there and to train with them pretty much, and to see if they can make the team, and within that conversation. Within that conversation, he brought, my name to them, and he let them know that, I was, part Puerto Rican, and I'm this player pretty much. So they reached out to me, and the president of the Puerto Rican National Team, he reached out to me, and, basically he said that, he wants me to come down there and train, and, he would like for me to try out with the national team. So I went out there, I tried out, I made the team. We started the tournament. Over the time I became captain of the team, and that was pretty much it moving forward for me.
Was it hard being away from friends and family for so long?
Yes and no. It was just hard that being away from definitely my family at the time. Like I said, I come from a rough background. Just being away from them and have to worry about them a little bit because I'm like the middle guy. So I have 3 older, 3 younger. So I kind of like keep everybody calm and separated. So I'm like the rock of the family. That was the hardest part because not knowing, what's going on or not being able to hear what's going on an everyday basis, it kind of bothered me a little bit. But I was doing something I loved though, so I know at the end of the day, if I keep focused, it'll all pay off. So.
I know baseball and Clemente are big in Puerto Rico. How is the soccer culture there?
It's starting to grow more and more now. I know then when I was playing, when I'm there, you see a lot of baseball fields and, different stuff like that. But, I know now they're trying to get bigger with their soccer. I got a couple of friends that's still down there, and they were playing on the team, and they're doing coaching and things like that. So I think the culture is starting to pick up there as far as soccer. But when I was playing, it's a lot of baseball and stuff, which is great. But it's good to see them stepping it up with soccer.
I know Jimmy Banks was one of your great mentors. How did he help you?
He helped me with everything. I mean, he was like a father, a best friend. I mean, Jimmy was the type of guy that no matter how you felt, you could always come to him and, you know, he'll be there for you. He'll be there for that conversation. And a lot of the stuff that he taught me throughout life, and definitely playing soccer, I couldn't ask for a better mentor. I'll tell you that much.
What was so important about his mentorship?
His wisdom. He'd been there. He'd done that. He was from the project, so he understood how we felt, and he can be able to help us because he was once one of us. So that was a big thing.
How important is it that your players know and honor Jimmy?
If the Simbas wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't, you know, for Jimmy help within doing this. So, you know, and what he did for the kids, you know, while he was still here. They understand that at the end of the day, he make men, and they understood and they listened to him when he talked. He just did so much for everybody that at the end of the day, Jimmy will always be known. I will always, you know, help lead what he tried to do, you know what I mean, before all of this. But, you know, just doing our part, making sure the kids understand the culture, and that's the big piece.
So I have one final question, which I always ask. What do you hope people remember about your impact to soccer and the world?
I just want them to understand that I'm just trying to help and do my part. And it's definitely, you know, at the end of the day, I want them to know that it's not about me, you know what I mean? It's 110% about the kids. And that's how I want to be remembered, as someone who really tried to make a change in his community.
Some of the things that Demitrius talked about were some topics that were very similar from what I've heard from other guests. Other guests have tried to bring soccer into communities that don't always have the sport, and they love the game so very much. And this is one of the main reasons I started the podcast, to highlight the beautiful parts in the game. Of course, that hence the name, Keep the Game Beautiful. One thing that really stood out to me was Demitrius talking about how when he was 13, he thought Simba SC was a purpose into his adulthood. This is really impactful to me and my goals personally, and other teenagers listening that want to make an impact. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and until I see you next time, remember to keep the game beautiful.